What I'm going to be talking about is the cheat code to getting approved to buy a multifamily house hack in 2025. And if you are a first-time home buyer, you are maybe not a first-time home buyer, but you're interested in buying your next house. You are interested in house hacking. Most importantly, you're just interested in buying a house in a profitable way in these days when it seems like everything is overpriced and interest rates are so high and everything is getting overbid and there's nothing out there. For anyone that this falls under, this is going to help you. What are the biggest challenges you're seeing in buying a home in 2025? Interest rates, right? Interest rates equal higher payments, which equal unaffordability, right? So you have that working against you, okay? You have low inventory, right? There's just not enough houses out there. Not a lot of people are selling. A lot of people either refinanced or bought when they had low payments, so they're used to this nice new low payment for some people. So you have that. Elvin said interest rates. Matthew says finding a 4-unit property. So lack of multifamily properties. It's a good one. We're going to touch on that. Lack of multifamily, fourplexes, hell, triplexes, quads, or duplexes even. So these are the things that we're running into, right? These are all the things that you're up against. And when I first started the 203K way, the whole premise of this is rooted is value add investing, right? We're using low risk government financing to buy a house, get all the money to buy it, get all the money to renovate it, ideally build the value through the renovation. So we're building a ton of equity very quickly and taking that equity and repeating the process to become real estate investors, right? However we tap that equity, whether it be a cash out refinance, whether it be a home equity line of credit, or maybe it just be you're more bankable and banks are going to see you and they're going to see that you have a house with a lot of equity in it, and they're going to be more likely to lend to you on credit lines, stuff like that. You're just going to have more access to capital, which of course we all want more access to capital when we're going to find deals. And that's a big part of it. The other part of it, what I've noticed in the last couple of years is this thing right here. What everyone's still struggling with at the end of the day is that properties are just damn unaffordable, right? So whether you have to renovate it or you want to do a big renovation, you go and you do the big renovation and you realize that it's just not worth it. It's like you find deals, and even ones that are fixer-uppers, you're struggling to find anything that's affordable. What I found in the last 2 years since we've been doing this, and especially in the last year, there's a couple changes that have made the biggest movement with people that are looking to house hack, looking to buy smart, looking to creatively buy their home so that they can use it as a true asset. We're all told like this thing by realtors, they love to say it, right? Your home is your greatest investment. I call it bullshit. I don't agree with that. I think there's a lot of people that force themselves into mortgages that they can barely afford, and they become house poor and get into something where they put all their money, all their time, all their effort into it, and then they're dying at their job, hating themselves because they're trying to afford this mortgage that it ended up being way more than they thought. Or they only look at the mortgage and they're like, oh, okay, we could afford $3,000 a month, but they don't only take into account the water bill and the heating bill and the appliances and the internet and the landscaping and everything else that comes with buying a house. And before you know it, even though it's your dream home, it's suffocating you, right? And that's the thing that I knew I wanted to go against, and I know a lot of you watching want to go against. So what I've noticed about that is like the house hacking concept, as good at the 203K is just going to accentuate that. But the house hacking concept is really what people are looking for, because they're looking for houses to become what? More affordable, right? Ability is what everybody's looking for right now. Okay? We can't find properties. There's such a lack of inventory. There's just not enough out there. How are we going to even renovate when nothing makes sense? Nothing makes sense financially. We're up against the market right now. We're up against the system. So here's the cheat code for 2025. I'm going to jump right into it. The idea here is there's been a lot of changes with the landscape of home buying programs, right? So obviously I'm a big fan of the FHA 203K, obviously, but there's other loans out there. There's the Fannie Mae Homestyle, there's Freddie Mac has programs, like there's other statewide programs. You name it, there's been all these different home buying programs. And what's happened in the last year, in 2024, we saw some of the record low transactions, record low inventory of houses on the market. So what happens in those cases? Organizations like FHA, like Fannie Mae, they're in business to provide mortgages for all these properties and for these new home buyers. Without those people buying houses, they're struggling, right? Their programs aren't being uplifted and going in the direction they want. So because of that, to your benefit, they've been able to make it a little sweeter for people like you and me. And the biggest thing and the biggest difference that has come into play is the accessory unit income. What I mean by that is, for all you house hackers that are out there, or maybe people that are just looking to buy their first home and not really too familiar with house hacking, essentially I like to say it, you're basically making your house an Uber, right? What do we see about Uber drivers? Uber drivers, they own a car and they're looking to make a little extra income. They realize that they could rent out their car effectively by being a driver for other people and make money out of their car. Their asset is the car, and they're able to make money with it through Uber. The same rules apply with houses. You have something that other people need, which is housing. If you have a property that has any sort of accessory unit, and that's what we're going to get into. We're typically, I think it was Matthew mentioned earlier about no quadplexes, and quadplexes are great. Don't get me wrong. I've helped countless people get into quads, but the reality is there's not many of them out there. And when you think about real estate investing as a whole, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to, cash flow is great. And everyone thinks that a quadplex is going to cash flow more than a triplex or a duplex, that's a different topic for a different day. I highly disagree with that. But at the end of the day, we're looking to get a good ROI on our home, and most importantly, build equity, because that equity is what allows you to repeat the process. Not the cash flow will help you pay your bills, but the equity is what builds true wealth, which is actually going to bring you to the next level. Okay. So we're able to combine two of those things, but the most important thing here is this new ADU process. So what's cool about this is they've been seeing that having any type of other living unit, separate living unit in your house. Now this qualifies, I've done trainings on this, split level homes, mother-daughters, basement apartments, detached garages, anything like that. Now we call them ADUs and they're zoned as ADUs. But what the mortgage companies and these federal programs are seeing is, listen, they don't know or care what you call it, whether it's ADU, whether it's zone 4. If it's a separate living unit and it conforms and is common and customary in the market to produce income, they will structure that loan such that it is a duplex. And here is where the hack is, okay? And this is what I call the half-price mortgage method. Who here would like a half-price mortgage? Would that help you with affordability? Would that help you if you only had to pay, if you're getting quoted that your mortgage is going to be $4,000 a month, but you only have to pay $1,200 or $1,500 or $1,800 a month, would you be more likely to purchase? And you'd still get the area that you want to live in. You'd still be able to bring in cash flow. If and when you decide to make that a rental property and move out, that other unit you'll rent out, it's probably ideally a bigger unit, or maybe it's the smaller unit. So you'll be able to still cash flow that deal. I was able to turn my $9,500 down payment into over $2 million in real estate with over $1 million of that in equity, strictly using these programs, is looking for value add opportunities on top of it. Okay. So the half price mortgage method is essentially harping in and zoning in on what I like to call invisible duplexes, okay? Now, why are they called invisible duplexes? Because they're not advertised as such. They might not even be advertised as properties that have an income producing unit or a separate unit in general. But what's cool about these properties is there's properties out there that are basically set up in such a way that they are set up to produce income. Now, what's cool about the 203K and all these renovation loans is now you can use these loans to finance the renovation to round out the fact of maybe it's already in a position to be an income producing unit and have your mortgage payment or mostly cover your mortgage payment, but you're able to use these loans to finish it out and then build the equity and even increase the rents on that property, okay? Now, what someone just told me earlier is that there's lack of inventory, right? There's not a lot out there. If a duplex goes up or a triplex goes up on the market, investors go and scoop it up immediately. But these invisible duplexes, they're stealth, or they're cloaked as single family, okay? So now you're able to tap into the single family market that's already out there, okay? So let's go to Zillow. Let's just go to Suffolk County, which is, I always go to this just because this is the county that's closest to me and where I invest in and everything like that, okay? So if you look at all properties for sale right now in Suffolk County, there's about 347 properties, okay? So now these are properties that are for sale, and we want to do home, I want to deselect all. I want to look only for houses. So houses are only single family homes. So of that, 2,700 of these, of those 2,700 of them are single family homes. This is actually a great one. This is a good example of what we're going to talk about. So they're right here. Now, let's go here, and now let's go to multifamily, okay? 44. So out of the, let's say the 44 plus 3,700, right? Let's call it 3,500. So 3,500 property or 3,700 properties. I have 3,700 properties that are listed, or let's do it this way: 44 divided by 3,700 equals times 100. That's 1% of the market. 1% of the market is multifamily properties. Now you might be running, now maybe you're in a more urban area, maybe that number is 5%. But for the ones that are looking for multifamily properties, you're focusing on duplexes and triplexes and quads. In a market like where I'm at, you're literally focusing in, you have a whole slew of all these properties, and then you boil it down, you're only at 1%. So if your life isn't hard enough with interest rates and high costs and everything like that, if you want to be a house hacker and you're looking to get a rental property that turns something into a rental property, you're competing on 1% of the market with all these other people that are interested in it. Do you guys see what the problem is? So everyone is interested in house hacking, but what I can tell you is this is going to burn you out very quickly. Okay. Now here's what's been happening. Here's what we've been seeing. Here's the cheat code that we've been implementing. Okay. When you go back to the houses, okay, you go back to houses. Now, obviously, this is a really expensive one. This is probably newly renovated without looking at the pictures. Yeah, it's not newly renovated, but it's in good shape. This is a classic example of a property. We actually just did it with someone in our community, someone in my inner circle, Christopher and his wife. They bought something probably not actually far from here in outside of Deer Park. They bought a similar house. It's a similar setup where they have a house where, now, if you look at these houses, this is called like a high ranch split around here, or split level property. You see that it goes upstairs, and that upstairs is a whole level, and there's a kitchen and everything like that. But then you also see there's another door down here. That leads to another separate level. Now, typically, remember what we said earlier, Fannie Mae, FHA, Freddie Mac, they're looking for accessory units to be anything that's a separate locked off unit in the property. And if that is, they will qualify the income potential of that unit. And what does that mean? That means that they're going to be able to up the price of what you're going to be able to pay in the market. So essentially, what you look for is if there's an income producing unit, okay, and this is roughly, this depends on your market and taxes and everything like that. For roughly every $1,500 a month in rent you'd be able to get from a property, that equals another $100,000 in buying power. So imagine you were pre-approved and you're looking for properties and you're getting burnt out because you're realizing that, holy crap, it's so expensive around here. I can't afford any of this. But if you're open to house hacking, you're open to producing income. Now, guys, you don't have to rent it. Like, this is your own house. You don't need to rent this out to a random or a stranger or for anyone that's, oh, I'm uncomfortable with doing that. Listen, I understand that. But at the end of the day, this is a huge opportunity. I have my best friends that did this, that do this strategy, that I help them do this strategy. They both have split level homes just like this. They rent it out to friends. They rent it out to people they know. They're people that come to their family parties. Now, again, of course, you might want to be like, hey, listen, I don't want to live with anyone. That's fine. And you can go down the FHA route now and the 203K route. But at the end of the day, what I'm here to do is we're going to make this a rental. This is ultimately going to be an investment for us. So if we want to make that sacrifice and make that investment sacrifice, we have to go in and do something big like this. Again, for every $1,500 a month, you get $100,000 in buying power. Now, in an area like this, you're actually probably getting closer to $2,000 or $2,500 a month for a property like we were showing at before. So if you do that, you're talking about a $150,000, maybe even a $200,000 bump in buying power if you have $2,500 in rent or something like that, right? So the idea here is that when you implement this strategy, you're going to open up so much more of this inventory, right? Instead of having only 44 homes to choose from, in this county, you have 2,700 homes to choose from. Not everyone's going to be set up with it, but holy hell, In just scrolling down the first couple instances, we have this one that would qualify for something like that, this one that would qualify for something like that. You could see, again, it's another split level type property. Now, obviously, these are in good shape. Okay. Another split level home. Okay. Another split level home, another split level home, and I did another split level home. These now we could probably get to 44 before we even hit the second page. Another split level home, a Cape home that has setups for this. Okay. So the idea here is that when you change that and you start looking for fixer uppers, not only are you going to be able to find something, this is a fixer upper for sure, but not only are you going to find stuff that is going to qualify for something like this, but you're also going to be able to use a 203K or a Fannie Mae home style or any of these renovation loans to not only tap into this whole world that we're talking about of all these hidden invisible duplexes, but in addition to that, you're going to be able to get cash flow quicker because you're not competing on quadplexes that are fixer-uppers. Because again, if there's only 44 of them out there, maybe there's only 3 listed, maybe none of them are fixer-uppers. So how are you going to be able to get good cash flow or be able to do a value add opportunity on something like that? You're not. You're slated to buy in move-in ready condition. And when you do something like that, good luck finding any equity and good luck finding any cash flow. Is this making sense? I hope this is making sense. So getting back to this, right? This is the biggest, this is the cheat code. This is it for 2025. If you walk away with anything with this, opening the eye to the invisible duplex strategy and looking for these properties that are cloaked as single family, you're playing a different game, okay, than other house hackers. And it doesn't have to be an exact ADU. You don't have to go out in the backyard and build a brand new ADU from the ground up. No, there's properties that are already set up with separate entrances, with mother-daughter setups, or attached garages that you can make into additional living space. These things are already done. And again, this is just to show you, here's Freddie Mac's thing on it. So you like eligible properties are an ADU with a 1-unit subject property that does not comply with local zoning and land use permits may be eligible under certain conditions. Now, we're going to get into how to get around those certain conditions and what those certain conditions are in a second. But the whole idea here is the certain conditions are that it is, again, common and customary in the market. In this market, you have that. It's common that there's basement apartments or other type of apartments like that that are safe. Again, it still has to be safe. It has to be, you have to have proper egress, proper setup of a kitchenette or anything like that. Maybe not an open range or anything like that, an electric hot plate, whatever the case may be. I want to talk about the biggest mistake that home buyers are interested in investing in house hacking are making in this market. What's the biggest mistake? I talk to so many different people. They all tell me the same thing. They all tell me they're looking. There's no deals in my market. There's no deals in my market. I ask them, okay, what's your pre-approval for? And what do you think they say? I don't have one yet. I ask them why. It's because there's no deals in my market. Here's the problem. I talked to someone about this the other day. Think about this. Let's just say you get a gift card to Macy's, but you have no idea what's on it. You go to Macy's, you need a new pair of pants. And if you're anything like me, and you're built like a pear, I don't even know. My legs are huge, my butt's big. I can't fit into any pants. It's like shopping for jeans is, I'd rather hear nails on a chalkboard. It sucks, okay? So let's just say you're someone like me and it's hard to find a really good fitting pair of jeans. So you go and you're at Macy's and you're shopping, you're looking at price ranges, you're like, I think there's $100 on the card, I think, but I don't really, I'm not sure. Like the person that gave it to me, I don't know, but there's probably something on it. So I'm shopping and I'm looking, and all I have with me is that gift card, by the way. I don't have anything else. So I have to make sure that works. And I go and I finally find, I'm like, geez, okay, I tried on a ton of pairs of pants. I spent a lot of time browsing, a lot of time checking out the racks, and I finally found this pair of pants. I like them, I'm good. Go up, grab my Macy's gift card, grab a pair of pants. I go to the cashier. I'd like to buy this pair of pants. You put the pants down. They swipe the card. You look up at the screen, and it says $0. Now, that sucks. Because if you're anyone like me, you just spent a lot of time, a couple hours, looking for pants, trying on different pants, looking at pants that I think are too expensive, but I really don't know because I don't know what I could afford. What everybody's doing in this market is they are shopping and they're saving up for a down payment. They don't even know what they can afford. They don't even know what their budget is. So how are you going to effectively shop without knowing a budget. Was I dumb to go shopping for pants and saying that, oh my God, all these pants are too expensive? I didn't know how expensive they were. I didn't know if I could afford maybe more expensive pants because I had no idea what was on that gift card. Okay. So you're shopping, if you're shopping blind, you're not shopping, you're browsing, you're window shopping. Okay. So the difference between an amateur and a professional is an amateur is what they do. They're a window shopper, right? That's all the people that reach out to me that say, oh, I've been looking, there's no deals in my market. I'm like, okay, what's your strategy? And they're like, I just go on Zillow and I look at prices and I get mad and then I shut my laptop. Is that a strategy? Are you going to find deals by doing that? Versus what do professionals do? Okay, now I spend $30,000 a year to be part of a really large real estate investing mastermind called The Boardroom. Although I'm friends with all the best wholesalers in the nation. And what do you think they do to find deals on houses? Do you think they just go on Zillow and they scroll through and look at the prices of houses and just get mad that the prices? Because I know people that are doing deals in Miami, New York, California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, you name it. I know them all. I know who's doing deals there. And they're doing deals day in, day out. What are they doing differently? Their markets are super expensive. Their markets are super competitive. But what are they doing differently? What are they doing differently? They're getting shots on goal. They're going out there and they're placing tons of offers. They're making tons of outreach. They're going to find what's out there. They're not waiting what comes to them. They're going out and grabbing it before you even know about it. Okay. The problem with that is what do they have? They have the financing in place. They know they have the money to do it. That's why they're able to do this. So without you having the money or knowing what the amount of money you have or need or whatever your thing is, without knowing that, you're not shopping. You're not doing anything with it. So again, the number one mistake everyone's making in the market right now is that they're going in and they're looking and they're saying, I can't find any deals in my market. And the first question I ask them is, how many offers have you placed? And what do you think the answer is 99 times out of 100? It's 0. And why? Because, oh, I'm afraid to lowball or I'm afraid. That's irrelevant. Do you think the wholesalers and all the people that I am with that do tons of deals, 10, 15 deals a month, do you think they care if their offer's high, low, indifferent, or whatever? No, they're a business. They are in the business of making money. So the whole idea here is we're a generation, and the millennials, most importantly, they look at stuff on retail, on the MLS, and think it's retail. And they say, I have to pay that because that's what it's worth. Absolutely not. It's worth what you're able to pay and what the comps in the neighborhood are telling you. Okay? So if you want to find the best price on something, what do? You have to shop around. You have to go out and compare pricing. You have to get shots on goal. You have to go out and find multiple properties. You don't just place one. If you want to find the best deal on a TV, you don't just go to one website and, oh, that's the TV I want. That's the best price. No, you shop around. You shop and you shop until you find the best deal you possibly can. If you're looking to save money or you're looking to get a good deal, it requires effort. Real estate is no different. If you just go and look on Zillow and do what everyone else is doing, which takes no effort, no skill, no strategy, you're not going to win. So anyone here is interested in this, and we talked all about the importance of knowing what your approval is and everything like that. So how do we find lenders that do this? Okay. So I've done a lot of trainings on this. There's a lot of good lenders here in this group. The whole idea here is that you go to your average lender, you ask them about this with these new loopholes and all these things that are going on with the ever-changing market that are familiar with house hacking, renovation loans, and everything like that. They're just not out there. I made a post the other day. You could check it out here in the group. But basically, it talks about how 90% of lenders have no idea what they're talking about with these. And if they do, they are riddled with misinformation because that's not what they do. It's like asking a golfer to play piano. That's not what they do. They golf all day. They don't play piano. So when you ask them to go play piano, you ask them to do a renovation loan or one of these house hacking loans, they're just not going to know what they're doing. And they only are used to golfing. So they're going to force you to be like, hey, you don't want to play piano, but come play golf, right? That's what they're going to do because they're in the commission business and that's what they're going to want. Then there's another 9% of people that maybe they're familiar with playing the piano and they've done it before. They mostly play golf. They play golf actually 95% of the time. They play piano a little bit, but because they don't want to lose your business, they're like, all right, I'll teach you how to play piano. The problem is they're not really good at playing the piano. They might not be the best teacher, and they're not the right people that are supposed to be teaching and helping you with this. Now, that's 99% of lenders really don't have any idea with this. Then there's 1% of lenders that specialize in this. They do these types of things. They do them day in and day out, right? I talk a lot of different strategies to find it. There's the HUD endorsement summary to find just the 203K lenders, but that's a little antiquated because it doesn't talk about the other loans that we talked about, right? Like the Fannie Mae and the Freddie Mac and everything like that. Luckily, I've been building relationships, again, with many of these lenders in this group, and I'm partnered with a couple different lending teams, but one or two in particular that lend nationwide. And we do these loans day in and day out. And the whole idea here is if you want to take this seriously in 2025, you need to get pre-approved and you need to know what your budget is. You need to know what's on that Macy's gift card and know what pants to buy, because you can't actively go hit the market and take advantage of this invisible duplex strategy that nobody else is doing right now. You have such a golden opportunity, but without having that budget and that shopping list, you have no idea what you're going to get. So again, to find lenders that do this, I've taken all the guesswork out of it for you. These are the lenders that know exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about the accessory unit income and everything like that. So you can go to the 203kway.com/lender. And we'll set you up. Chelsea from my team or someone else from my team will give you a shout. It's just fill out a little form with your information, your market. She'll check in with you, see where you're looking at, what your situation is. Now, here's the thing, guys. Like, obviously, you have to be working. You have to have a little bit of savings and everything like that. But sometimes you're in better positioning, or sometimes you're in worse positioning. But the only way to know is by talking to a lender. These lenders know the way that I do things and this whole concept that I'm talking about tonight. So you're able to set that up and able to get that going. That way you can go and start taking advantage of all this stuff we talked about. So this is the key point here. These are the biggest things, and this is the way to get approved for higher loan amounts. This is going to help give you the edge. We just did it with a couple here in my inner circle community. We got them, we found them a perfect deal for this. We worked with a lender. We leveraged this whole process to give them additional buying power. They were previously only pre-approved for $400,000 a loan, but we were able to get them into a property for $650,000, and they're going to be getting almost 3/4 of their mortgage paid for because they're going to be renting out the downstairs unit. Okay, so who here would like a 3/4 only having to pay 25% of your mortgage payment? Now, sure, you're not walking into it cash flowing, but what would it mean for you if your living expense was that much lower, but you also built a ton of equity on the process, right? Doing a little bit of renovation. You don't have to do a major overhaul. This could be something where you immediately turn something into a really profitable deal. Okay, that's one of the examples of that. Now, tonight we covered the lending part of it and everything like that. I talked about the people I work with. I do these trainings and I do them for you for free because I want people to succeed with this and give the information that I wish I had when I needed it when I was getting started. Now, if you're the type of person that you're like, hey, I really want to do this, but I want to help with implementation, the information's great, but I want you to hold my hand and work with you to find these deals, right? We come up with a customized game plan. How do we attack this, actually place offers? What do we say in the offers? How do we find the deals? We use AI to find these deals. And we basically just press the fast forward button on all of this to get you a deal quicker, guarantee that you're going to be making actually cash flow on this, getting equity on these deals. We hold your hand through the entire process, start to finish. If you're interested in something like that, I invite you, if you would like to apply to my inner circle, that's where I work with you along with my team personally to walk you through your deal in any market, anywhere in the country, if you're ready. Now, obviously, this is only if you're ready. If you're convinced that this is the strategy that you want to do, you can apply to work one-on-one with me to fast forward your deal finding at the 203kway.com/apply. And when you go there, it'll ask you to fill out a quick form. Just, I want to learn and know about you and your situation, make sure you're a fit for this. And then it'll bring you to my booking page. You book a time on my calendar to talk with me directly. Again, do not apply. This is for serious people only. Do not apply if you're just thinking about it. You don't think you're in the position to do it. No, it's, hey, Matt, I want to do this. I want to build $100,000+ of equity, and I want to be cash flowing day one. And I want someone to make sure that we do it the right way. That's what this is for. All right. I'm working really hard on doing more of these trainings and also uploading them to YouTube, so we have more people that get indoctrinated with this. If you like this and you enjoyed it, please share it with someone, share the group with someone. If there's someone that you think would benefit from this, please share it. That's what helps me. This literally changed my entire life. This took me from working a 9-to-5 job. These programs just like this, using strategies just like this, allow me to move into real estate full time and have so much more time freedom than I ever had. I won't get it twisted. It's stressful having your own business and running in real estate, but being able to take my kids to school in the morning, have breakfast with them, go out to lunch with them on a Tuesday. That's what it's all about. And this is going to be the stanchion that's going to help get you there. And please do not sleep on this opportunity, because I don't know how many people know about this cheat code. And I can tell you it's not going to be quiet for long. Once people start realizing, with how frustrated buyers are right now, once they start realizing they can do this, you're literally shopping with a completely different tool set than any other buyer in the market right now. So I want you to leverage this and take advantage of it. Again, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you on the next one.